Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to lecture number 29 of the course Introduction to Computer and Programming. In this lecture, we will see a database management program that is used to add record, display record, modify record, and delete any record from the group of records. And then we will see some useful function while writing this database management software, that is Fseek function, that is used for seeking within the file, and rewind function. In the previous lecture, we have seen file opening modes, string line IO function in file, that is reading a string and writing a string in a file, and then reading and writing numbers in file, and text versus binary file, and reading and writing in binary file. In today's lecture, we will see a database management software, a small database management software. It's not really a database management software, but a small picture of that software or that system, and it provides the facility to add record, display all records, modify record, and delete record. We can further extend it. We will see how we can extend this thing and provide other option to the user. And then seeking in file through Fseek function. Database management system. Database management system is a large program composed of various modules that controls the creation, modification, deletion, and presentation of records. So you can create record, that means add a record, modify record, delete, and presentation means you can display the record, present the record to the user. So this is a database management system perform these tasks. This is a very small group of tasks performed by the database management system. Addition of record. So addition of a record must always take place at the end of existing record in the file. So for example, if you open the file, all the contents of the file are placed in the buffer, and buffer is a special place in the memory, not a special place but a place that contains the file content, and we have a file pointer that points to a structure of type file, and within that structure we have a character pointer that points to the buffer where the content of the file are present. And if we want to add something in the file, we have to add at the end of the file. So it's like much like in the same way that you would add a new record in a manual register. So आपके पास manual register जिसमें आपने हाथ से records लिखे हुए हैं, and if you want to add new records, you will add at the end of all the record. Same इसी तरह से when you have a database management program and you want to add the record in the file, you have to move the file pointer to the end of the file, and then you will start writing the record. So for example, if we have these 3 records and each record has 4 fields, let's review previous things as well. So for these 4 fields are the name, ID, that is roll number, and CGPA and department. So the records are the first record is the name is Fatma Tariq, ID or roll number is 102, CGPA is 3.45, and subject is physics. So that is one record, and it is composed of 4 fields. And if you want to add the record, you have to move the file pointer, because when you open the file in R plus mode or RB plus mode in binary mode, then the file pointer points to the first character at the beginning of the file. So whenever I say that the file pointer points to the beginning of the file, it means that that file pointer points to a structure of type file where that structure contains a character pointer, and that character pointer points to the first character of the buffer that contains the content of the file. Okay? So in short, I will say that a file pointer points to the first character of the file. So when you open the file in RB plus mode or R plus mode, the file pointer points to the first character of the file. Then when you want to add the record, you have to move the file pointer to the end of the file and then you add the record. So you have to move the pointer to the end of the file and then you add a record, and after adding the record you move the file pointer again to the end of the file, and that is the end of the file, right? And now this file contains 4 records. Display record, so listing records means displaying the existing record on the screen. Record should be listed from first record to the last record. So display records mean display all records, whatever records are in the database, it display all the records. And this is the form of the display, that it display in the tabular form, that it should write the name of the field, name of the second field, that is roll number, name of the third field, CGPA and department, and then we have the record number 1, record number 2, record number 3 and record number 4, all the 4 records. So display record, so before displaying record, that is before reading the record and displaying it on the screen and then read next record and display it on the screen, you have to make sure that the file pointer points to the first character, that the file pointer points to the beginning of the file, that is it points to the first character in that file. You have to make sure this thing, right? And when it points to the beginning of the file, then you start reading the record. You read first record and display it, and then read the second record and display it, and then read the third record and display it, and so on until you find the end of the file. Modify record. So first step in this modification is to first ask the user which record he intend to modify. For example, you have 5 records or 4 records, then you can ask the user कि आपने किस record को modify करना है. The user doesn't intend to modify all of the record. So for example, the program asks to input name of the employee whose record is to be modified. ठीक है, उस एम्प्लॉय का नाम एंटर करो जिसका रिकॉर्ड मॉडिफाई करना है, या स्टूडेंट का नाम एंटर करो जिसका रिकॉर्ड मॉडिफाई करना है. एंड द यूजर एंटर द रिकॉर्ड, एंटर द नेम, देन it start reading the record from the beginning of the file. So for modification, you have to first make sure that the file pointer points to the beginning of the file. That's the first thing. And then you ask the user to input name or the registration number or the roll number, whatever, to input these things, one of these things. And this is for the sake that you can search which record the user wants to modify. ठीक है, for example, user ने name input कर दिया Fahad Hamid, so then you will start searching. You first read the one record, then you check whether the name is same as input by the user. If it is not, you read another record. If you find that the name is same as read by the user, then you input the new values and write these values on that place in the file. Okay? So on modifying the record, the existing record gets overwritten by the new record. कैसे overwritten होगा? We will see this. So for example, this is the original record, 4 records, and we want to modify CGPA of Ahmed Ali from 3.85 to 4.00. For example, we mistakenly input 3.88, and in fact the CGPA of Ali Ahmed is 4.00. So when we modify this record, then the modification will take place on the same place, that is over here. So only that record will be modified. Okay? So modification से पहले, what you have to make sure that the file points to the beginning of the file. Why? Because you read the first record and you check the name. If the name in the first record is the same name input by the user, ठीक है, अगर तो उसका ये आप चेक करना फर्स्ट रिकॉर्ड से शुरू करेंगे. अगर somehow फाइल पॉइंटर फाइल के सेकेंड रिकॉर्ड पे या थर्ड रिकॉर्ड को पॉइंट कर रहा है, then it start reading from the third record, because you have a file pointer and through file pointer you can read or write the record on the file. You can read the record using file pointer, you can write the record using file pointer. If the file pointer is on the 4th record, it will read the 4th record, not the first one. So in order to read the first record, you have to move the file pointer to the beginning of the file, right? So you have to make sure one thing, that for the modification, the file pointer points to the beginning of the file, and then you ask the user to input the name, you search the name, and then you read the record one by one and compare the name field of the record with the name input by the user. If there is a match, then you ask the user to input new values, and when the user input new values, then you write that record on the existing record like this. Okay, so this is the previous record, and after modification it will be like this, right? Deletion of a record. So deletion is somehow interesting. First ask the name for the record to be deleted. So इसमें भी पहला step यही है, you have to first make sure that the file pointer points to the beginning of the file. Then you ask the user to input the name of the record you want to delete, or he wants to delete, or she want to delete, and then write all record except the one to be deleted in a temporary file. So, and then delete the original file and rename the temporary file back to the original file. First you have to make sure that the file pointer is at the beginning of the file. Then you ask the user to input the name of the record to be deleted. Then you start reading the record from the original file, and you create a temporary file, and then you start reading the record from the original file and copy the record in the temporary file if the name of the record is not the same as input by the user. So you read the first record, name is not same, you write it in the temporary file, and then you read another record. If the name is same as input by the user, then you won't write that record in the temporary file. So in this way, when this process completes, that means you start you read all the records from the original file and write in the temporary file. Then temporary file contains all the record except the record whose name is the same that is input by the user. Then what you do is you close both the files, then you delete the original file and you rename the temporary file back to the original file. For example, आपकी original file का नाम था emp.employee.dat, आपने temporary file बनाई temp.dat. After writing all the record except that record whose name is same as input by the user, then you close both file and then you delete employee.dat file and rename temp.dat to employee.dat and open that file again in RB plus mode. So this is student.dat file. This is a small demo that how we can delete a record. And for example, the user enter the name Fahad Hamid. So we have a message, enter name for record to be deleted, and user enter the name Fahad Hamid, and that is the third record and that we want to delete. So we create a temporary file, then we read the first record, we compare the name of the first record with the name input by the user. So Fatma Tariq, that is the name, that is not equal to Fahad Hamid, so we can write that record in temporary file. Then we read the second record, the name is Ali Ahmed, that is not equal to Fahad Hamid, that is the name input by the user. Then we write that record in the temporary file. Then we read the third name. Now the name in that record is the same name as input by the user, so you won't write that record and you move the pointer to the next record. You need to read the next record. The name is Tariq Khan, that is not same as the input by the user, so then you write that record in the temporary file. Then the reading process is finished, you close both the file, then you rename the temporary file, and before renaming you have to make sure that you delete the original file, because it's not possible that you have a two file containing same name in the same folder. Okay? So before renaming the temporary file, the temp file with student.dat, you have to delete the original file first, then you rename the file and then you open that file in RB plus mode, because हमने दोनों files को close कर दिया था. ठीक है? So that is a seamless deletion, and user don't know that the new file has been created and all this process, right? That is known only to the programmer who programs it. Now, opening file strategy. First, open the file in RB plus mode, that is reading and writing mode. But if the file exists, it will open that file and the file pointer points to the first character in that file, and if the file does not exist, then fopen will return you null. Then if the first attempt return null, this means that file does not exist, and now this is the first time you are running this program, because when you run this program, then this opening fopen function will RB plus will return you null, because file does not exist when you run the program first time. So this means that file does not exist. Now open the file in WB plus mode so that it will create a file. So WB plus mode means reading and writing as well, but it will create a file if the file does not exist. But if the file exists, it will also create a new file. That means the content of the previous file with the same name will be destroyed. So अगर मैं RB plus mode में my.txt फाइल को ओपन कर रहा हूँ और my.txt फाइल पहले से एग्जिस्ट करती है and it contains some data and then that data will be lost. ठीक है, वो my.txt जो भी नाम से पहले फाइल होगी उसको डिलीट कर देगा और नई फाइल क्रिएट कर देगा उसकी जगह. So this is the strategy to open the file. So first we open the file emp.data. Emp is short for emp is short for employee. So it opens the m.dat file in RB plus mode. ठीक है, so RB plus modes में क्यों ओपन कर रहे हैं पहले हम इसे कि अगर फाइल एग्जिस्ट करती है, so it opens the file and the content of the file were not lost. Then if that returns null, so when this condition will be true, when you run the program for the very first time, then this condition will be true. Or if you delete the file afterwards, then this condition will also be true, because it won't find the file then if you delete that file. So for example, if you run the program first time or you delete the file when you run the program for the first time, then this condition will this fopen function will return null. The condition in the if statement will be true. Then you open the file in WB plus mode, then it will create a new file whose name is emp.dat for reading and writing purpose, and then you're checking again. If it is null, then you can display the message cannot create a file. So every time you run the program, it first try to open the file in RB plus mode. If it is unsuccessful to open the file in RB plus mode, then it opens the file in WB plus mode. And what are the situation where it is unsuccessful to open the file in RB plus mode? They are the situation when you run the program at the very first time. The second situation is that when you run the program and then afterwards you delete the file, the m.dat फाइल को अगर आप डिलीट कर देते हैं बाद में, तब भी ये जो fopen की जो फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट है ये नल रिटर्न करेगी. ठीक है, बिकॉज फाइल इसको नहीं मिलेगी. Note that the file is being opened only once and closed only once, which is quite logical. So you open the file at the beginning of your program, then you have a menu driven program. I will show you the skeleton of the program, which says you can add record, delete record, modify and display record, and you open the file at the first time and you close the file when you exit from the program, right? Well, in the delete function, its strategy, the functionality of the delete function is like this, that you have to close the file because you have to delete the original file and rename the temporary file with the original file, and then you can open the file in RB plus mode. Okay? So this is the program skeleton, a database program skeleton. So we have 4 menus, 1, 2, 3, 4 for addition of record, listing of record, that is displaying the records, and modifying record and delete record and exit then. Okay? So then you ask the user to input your choice, and here you're taking input. This std in is to flush the buffer, flush out the standard input buffer. So get CHE. So get CHE is a function, get character, and E stand for echo. So get CH and get CHE, they are two separate functions. So they are used to take a single character input from the keyboard. The difference is that both take the single character from the keyboard. The difference is that get CH does not display the character on the standard output, while get CHE echo that character on the standard output, and standard output you know that it is monitor. So ये character आपको यहाँ पर display हो जाएगा. Then you have a switch. So all these things are in the while one loop. So what is the way to go out of the program? That is to choose the option number 0, that is exit. So it come in the 0 case, and then this function will be called exit 0 and the program exit. So what we have in case number 1? So we have the code for addition of record here, and then code for display of the record here, and code for modification of record, and code for deletion of a record that goes over here. Okay, so this is a skeleton of the program. Now we will fill out one by one the code of addition, then display, then modification, and then deletion, and then we will go to the program with the complete program, and we will run the program and see the output or desired output. हम तमाम functions को देखेंगे क्या वो सही तरह से काम कर रहे हैं या नहीं कर रहे हैं. Before doing this, let's see how we can seek in a file. So that is very important function, or very beneficial function provided by the C to the C programmer. So C provides seeking in the file through Fseek function. So seeking means if you are moving inside the file. So Fseek, this is the prototype of the function Fseek. The first parameter is the file pointer in which you want to seek. The second parameter is the offset, and then third parameter is the particular position in the file. So seek end is the end of the file. So that is that position कि file के end पे point कर रहा हो. So offset tells how many bytes should the pointer move from a particular position. So offset tells how many bytes should a pointer moves from a particular position. एक particular position पे pointer, if the offset is in negative, it will move backward, the pointer moves backward, and if it is positive, the pointer moves forward. The third parameter could be seek set, that is beginning of the file, seek current, that is the current position of the file pointer, and seek end, that is the end of the file. ठीक है, so तीन positions हैं जो कि particular position है file में, एक particular position को refer करती हैं. Then you have a offset. अगर offset positive में है तो it will move the file pointer further, इतने bytes आगे move करना है. So offset tells how many bytes should the pointer, that is the first parameter, this pointer move from a particular position, that is third parameter. So इसकी example लेना चाहें तो for example if we have a person standing outside the classroom and he has to tell every student where to sit. So we have a particular position in the class, that is end of the class and the beginning of the class. So he says, okay, student number 1 come, and the particular position is the beginning of the class and the offset is 5, positive 5. So it moved to the beginning of the class and it leave the row number 1, then it comes to the row number 2, 3, 4, and it sit on the 5th chair. So class के beginning से कितना आगे move करना है? 5 seat, because offset is 5. Then it called the second student that okay, the particular position is the beginning of the class and the offset is 3. Then from the beginning of the class it has to move 3 position forward. So row number 1 में आएगा, 2 में आएगा और 3rd में आके he can sit over there, right? इसी तरह से we have a particular position, let's say end of the class. So call the student number 3 and says end of the class, and so from the end we cannot move further, so we can say end of the class and -1. So he goes to the end of the class and एक चेयर छोड़ के वो उससे अगली चेयर पे बैठ जाएगा, that is the second last row or second last row in the class. If I says okay, student number 4, the particular position is end of the class and the offset is 0, then he has to sit on the last row, right? So ये जो just मैं आपको एग्जांपल दे रहा हूँ to make it clear कि how fseek function will work. So fseek function क्या करता है, इस फाइल पॉइंटर की पोजीशन को सेट करेगा according to second and third parameter. So third parameter अगर seek end है, तो first it move the file pointer to the end of the file and then it check the offset कि अब कितने bytes पीछे move करना है. If the offset is 0, it leave the file pointer there. If the offset is let's say 10, then it moves the 10 byte from the end of the file, it moves the file pointer to the 10 byte further. ठीक है, वो 10 byte उसे आगे ले आएगा, पीछे ले आएगा आपके फाइल से. ठीक है, so if this is the end of the file, so अगर कहा जाए if the file contains C provides seeking in file through fseek function, so these are the content of the file and you call the function fseek fp0 seek end. So then the file pointer points to this position. You see the mouse cursor? So we are assuming that the file contains only this one line only, right? It ends at function. So when you execute this function fseek fp0 seek end, then fp points over here. You see the mouse position? So fp points over here, that is at the end of the file. So if you say that okay, the same thing but here offset is -10, so fseek fp -10 seek end. So here we have a -10 now. So from the last position move 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So it points to this bracket, the file pointer. Okay, so if you write fseek fp 10 seek set, so seek set mean beginning of the file, so file pointer moves to the beginning of the file, then it see the offset is 10, so it moves 1 2 is the space, 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, so it points at this space that is between provide and seeking, right? So let's see the example. So let's see, this is the file. When you open the file pointer points to the beginning of the file, that is, it points to the first character on the buffer that is allocated for, that is the space allocated in RAM for that file. And then we have executed fseek fp0 seek end. Now it moves the file pointer to the end position in the file. Seek end means the end of the file. Let's go to the previous slide and check it again. So seek end means end of file, seek current means the current position of file pointer, and beginning of the file is seek set. So here when this thing is executed, the file pointer points to the end of the file like this. So before that it points to the first, and when we execute this fseek statement, fp offset is 0 seek end, so it points to the end of the file, then it check the offset is 0. So the file pointer points to this position. Now you can add record here. So अब यहाँ पर अब आप add record कर सकते हैं. You can add record. So before adding the record, you have to do this thing. ठीक है, आपने fseek करके उसको end पे ले आना है file pointer को, and then you start adding the record, right? So what if this statement is executed at this position? So file pointer is at the end of the file. So seek current means the current position of file pointer. And okay, so here we have size of struct student. So what is struct student? This is struct student. So it contains a student name, roll number, CGPA and department. So this is the student structure, the definition of the structure, and this is one record. And what is the size of one record? That is the size of struct student. Okay, so what is the size of one record? This is one record And what is the size of the one record? That is the size of the struct student. And what is the size of struct student? It is 40 plus 40, 80 plus 484 plus 488, 88 बाइट. So रिकॉर्ड का साइज क्या है? 88 बाइट है एक रिकॉर्ड का साइज. चाहे वो ये रिकॉर्ड हो, चाहे वो अली अहमद वाला रिकॉर्ड हो, चाहे वो फातिमा तारिक वाला रिकॉर्ड हो, कोई भी रिकॉर्ड होगा उसका साइज क्या है? 88 बाइट है. So this size of struct student will return us 88, and we have a minus sign over here. That is, we want to move. हम आगे मूव नहीं करना चाह रहे, पीछे मूव करना चाह रहे हैं. So seek current position कौन सी है फाइल पॉइंटर की? That is this position here at the end of the file. So move FP from the current position, that is this position, to minus 80 byte. So minus 80 क्या है? So ये जो ताहिर खान वाला रिकॉर्ड है, that is 80 byte. So this means that when this fseek, second fseek is successfully executed, the file pointer points to this position in the file. ठीक है? So अभी file pointer इस position पर है. Now the file pointer is at this position. So seek current is the current position of the file. Current position अभी आपने position file की change की थी, seek end से उसको end पे ले आए थे. Now this is end of the file and the current position of the FP is over here. So ये है. So seek current mean the second fseek function will move the file pointer from the current position 80 bytes backward. So now the file pointer points to this position in the file. ठीक है, वो इस position को point करेगा अब. And then if we have, let's say, seek current. Okay, if I write over here, let's say, let me write. So we have a seek set over here, and here I write. So I know the size of the record, right? So if I write the second parameter, the first parameter is same as it is, that is FP, and the second parameter is, I know that is, it is 80. That is size of struct student. So this is positive 80. I didn't put any sign over here, negative sign over here. And the third parameter, let's say it is seek underscore set. So this is seek. Seek is over here. I'm writing it with mouse, so it's very difficult. So let me try it. Seek so the third parameter is seek set, and this is fseek function. So if we call this function like this, what will happen? So currently file pointer points to the last record, that is Tahir Khan, right? So if we execute this seek function fseek, okay, so the second parameter is 80, the third parameter is seek set. So seek set means move the pointer to the beginning of the file, so it moved the pointer over here at this position. Here at this position, and then it adds 80 byte. So the size of this record is 80 byte. So when it add it, the file pointer comes over here. Now the FP points to this position. अब FP इस position पे point करेगा. I hope now you understand this example. So this is now the current position of the file pointer. Now let's see the addition of the record. So for addition, you have to make sure that the file pointer points to the end of the file. So this is our structure. Now I will show you the code of addition code that you have to place in the proper position in the skeleton of the program, जो मैंने आपको भी कुछ स्लाइड पहले शो किया था. So this is the definition of the amp structure, and we declare a variable e of amp structure. Amp structure contains the name of the employee, age, and basic salary. BS is the basic salary of the employee. Now this is the This is the program or the code for addition of the record. Now we calculate a record size. You can see over here this rec size. This is an integer type variable, and the size of E will return 80, but not in this case. It returns 40 plus 4 plus 4, that is 48, sorry. So it returns 48, and that will be stored in rec size. Rec size is the record size, that is the size of the record, and that is 48 byte. You can use size of function every, आप हर उस जगह पे size of function भी use कर सकते हैं, but हमने size of function को पहले use करके हमने ये calculate कर लिया rec size. Then this is case number 1, addition of the record, and Fseek. Now this Fseek will move the file pointer to the end of the file, and from the end it moves 0 byte backward or forward. So the file pointer points to the end of the file. Then here, so place the file pointer at the end of the file, and in the while loop, then you ask the user to input name, age and basic salary. You input these values in the structure E, and then you write using fwrite function. So because it's very easy to, you can use any other function, for example fprintf, to write those record, but here we are using binary file, so we are using fread and fwrite function to write and read the content of the file. So it uses fwrite function. Now fwrite function, how we describe fwrite function, this function will read the content from this memory address जो फर्स्ट पैरामीटर में है, how many bytes to read, rec size byte, how many block of rec size byte will be read, 1 block of rec size byte will be read, and where to write it in the FP. so वो इतने एक रिकॉर्ड को रीड करके FP में राइट कर देगा. कितने बाइट्स लिखेगी FP में? 80 bytes. Then the file pointer points to the end of the file, that is at the end of this record जो आपने input किया. Then you print the message, add another record, yes, no. If the user says yes, the loop will be executed again once more, and the same process is repeated, that is you input the value of the name, age and basic salary from the user, and then you write those values in the file. And then we have a break statement after the case. So addition is always performed at the end of the file, that is you have to remember this thing. Now displaying all records. So display is very simple, and before displaying make sure that the file pointer is at the beginning of the file. So we have a rewind function, we pass it the file pointer, and what the rewind function will do, it rewind the file pointer, and the file pointer points to the beginning of the file. That is, rewind function places the pointer to the beginning of the file. It places the pointer to the beginning of the file. So अगर आप for example rewind function execute नहीं करते तो ये रिकॉर्ड रीड तो करेगा. So जहाँ पर FP होगा वहाँ से रिकॉर्ड रीड करेगा. For example file pointer is currently pointing to the third record, it start reading from the third record and displaying, start displaying. So पहले दो रिकॉर्ड डिस्प्ले नहीं होंगे. So you have to make sure that you use the rewind function, you rewind the file pointer before displaying the record. So पहले आपने rewind करना है, उसके बाद आपने read करना है. So when the record is successfully read, fread function return 1. एक record read कर लिया successfully. When the last record is displayed, then the file pointer points to the end of the file, and then fread will return the value that is not equal to 1, because उसने record read नहीं किया और 0 return करेगा, तो 0 is equal to 1, the condition become false. Then it comes outside the loop. So for displaying of record, you have to make sure that the file pointer points to the beginning of the file. You have to move the file pointer to the beginning of the file before displaying the record. Now modifying a record, modification of record. So this is the code for the modification. We will go through the code step by step. So we have a while another loop that is the same as we have in the adding of a record. Then we have a printf scanf, that is enter the name of employee to modify. उस employee का name input करें जिसका record आपने modify करना है. You input that name in a string emp name. Then the next statement is the rewind. So आपने कहाँ से record को तलाश करना शुरू करना है फ्रॉम द वेरी फर्स्ट रिकॉर्ड से. सो जो एम्प नेम में हमारे पास स्ट्रिंग स्टोर है वो हर रिकॉर्ड के साथ मैच करेंगे, और हर रिकॉर्ड का मतलब ये है कि यू हैव टू स्टार्ट विद द फर्स्ट रिकॉर्ड from the file and you have to move on. So fRefind function will be executed. So we have a file जिसमें फाइल को different color से शो किया हुआ है. इसमें रिकॉर्ड है, the first record is with the blue color, the second record is with the brown color, and then with the green or orange and maybe gray color. Now this is the brown and the second record is with the gray color. ठीक है. सो इसको डिफरेंट कलर से शो किया हुआ है और हर कलर एक रिकॉर्ड को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहा है. वी आर एज्यूमिंग दैट वी हैव 1 2 3 4 5 रिकॉर्ड्स इन अ फाइल एंड ईच रिकॉर्ड रिप्रेजेंट्स अ डिफरेंट कलर. ठीक है. नाउ लेट्स सी हाउ दिस फंक्शन विल वर्क. सो fRefind जब करेंगे fp को, नाउ fp पॉइंट्स टू द बिगिनिंग ऑफ द फाइल एंड वी हैव while loop. We are reading a record, so you have to read the record from the fp. How much byte you want to read, rec size byte, number of bytes, and how much block of rec size you want to read, only one block. So it read one block of rec size from fp and write it in the end e. इस address पे write कर देगा, memory address पे write कर देगा. This is what happened actually. E को जो space allocate हुई थी वहाँ पर आपके पास record number 1 आ जाएगा, and after reading the record, file pointer points to the next record. So after reading this record and writing it in the E, the file pointer is points to the next record in the file. And then we have if condition. If string compare, we have a string compare function. Now we are checking the name of this record. E dot name is this name is equal to emp name जो भी user name input किया था. If it is equal, it comes inside. If it is not, let's say this is not equal. So E इसमें जो name का field है that is not equal to emp name, we assume this thing, let's say it's not equal, then it won't come inside here in the if block. Then again it comes to the while loop and read the record that is pointed by the fp and write it at memory address that is associated with the variable E. So it write that record over here and incremented the file pointer. So file pointer points to the next record, and then in the if condition we are checking that if the record that is placed in a variable E, its name is equal to the name input by the user. If they are the same, then string compare returns you 0. If they are not, string compare returns any non-zero value, then this condition is false. So let's say they are the same. So we want to modify this record, that is the second record. ठीक है. So file pointer अभी third record को point कर रहा है, because after reading the record, file pointer points to the next record. So you have read this second record, उसको आपने E में रख दिया है, and the file pointer points to the next record, that is third one. ठीक है. Then you come inside the printf statement, come inside the if block, because the condition in the if is true. We assume that this name is the same as the name input by the user जिसका वो record modify करना चाहता है. So user input new values. So it first display the message enter new name, age or basic salary. So in the scanf function user input new values and that is represented by the different color here. So ये different color जो है it represents के record modify हो चुका है, but अभी फाइल में लिखा नहीं गया. अभी ये सिर्फ और सिर्फ इसके content E में मौजूद हैं, E variable में. ठीक है. Because we have to move the file pointer to that record, second record के शुरू में move करना होगा, and then we have to write E in the file. ठीक है. So we use fseek function. अब fseek function में क्या बता रहे हैं? Current position से. Current position कौन सी है? It points to the beginning of third record. माइनस रैक साइज पीछे. सो रैक साइज बाइट पीछे मूव कर जाओ. पीछे क्यों? बिकॉज वी हैव अ नेगेटिव साइन ओवर हियर. सो रैक साइज क्या है? 80 बाइट्स. सो इट मूव्स द फाइल पॉइंटर 80 बाइट्स बैकवर्ड. ठीक है. दिस मीन्स दैट द फाइल पॉइंटर विल पॉइंट टू द बिगिनिंग ऑफ द सेकेंड रिकॉर्ड. सो व्हेन द fseek function is executed successfully, the file pointer points to the second record. So वो third record से second record पे आ जाएगा. So अभी सेकेंड रिकॉर्ड रीड करने के बाद फाइल पॉइंटर थर्ड रिकॉर्ड पर आ गया था, एंड थर्ड रिकॉर्ड पर आने के बाद आपने E में नेम चेक किया, that is the same as the name input by the user, so you ask the user to input new values, you input new values in the structure E, and then you move the file pointer to the particular position. So आप seek current, because you know that now after reading the second record the file pointer is pointing to the third record. Now you say that using fseek from the current position, so seek current is the current position of the file pointer, that is this one, that is at the beginning of the third record. Move the file pointer to rect size backward. Why backward? Because we have a negative sign over here. If the sign is positive over here, then the file pointer will be pointing to the next, this orange record. ठीक है? But जब fseek function successfully execute हो जाएगा, then file pointer will be pointing to the second record, and then we have a fwrite function. Using fwrite function we can write the content of this new record in that place, so the content are written. Then we have a break statement, so while loop will be break, while loop break हो जाएगा. Break होने के बाद you have a message modify another record, yes no. If you enter yes, the same process will be repeated. ठीक है? The same process क्या है? It will ask you for the name, then it move the pointer to the beginning of the file, then it start reading the record and compare the name input by the u. ठीक है? So that is the process of modifying a record. So modification में you have to first identify the record. Or identification के लिए you ask the user to input the name or registration number, whatever the option provided by your program, or whatever is the requirement by the client. Your client जो आपसे ये सॉफ्टवेयर बनवा रहा है, for example. Then you move the file pointer to the beginning of the file and you read the first record. After reading the first record, you will check that the name in the first record, if it is equal to the name that is input by the user, if they are equal, then you find that record. But you have to make sure one thing, that after reading any record, after reading first record, file pointer points to the beginning of second record. After reading second record, file pointer points to the beginning of third record. So here in this case, the file pointer, we want to modify the second record, and we identify it because the names are the same. And then we have use fseek function to seek the position of the file pointer to the second record. Now we know that after reading second record, the file pointer points to the third record, and we said that from the current position, that is at the beginning of the third record, move the cursor to the rect size byte backward. Why backward? Because of this minus sign. So it moved that cursor to the minus rect size backward, and now the file pointer points to the beginning of second record, and then you can use fwrite to write whatever is the new value input by the user in structure E in the file. Now let's see how we can delete a record. So this is the code for the deletion of the record. Let's revise the deletion process. The deletion process is before you have to ask the user to input the name or the registration number or the ID to identify which record you want to delete, or which record the user want to delete, and then you open a temporary file in a WB plus mode, that is you create a temporary file, okay, and then you rewind the original file pointer to the beginning of the file, okay. So the file pointer points to the beginning of the file, and you already create a temporary file. Then you start reading the first record, then you compare the name of that first record. If the name is not same as the name input by the user, you write that record in a temporary file, and you write all those record, so except the record whose name is same as input by the user. Now the temporary files contain all those record that are present in the original file, that is emp.dat, except the record whose name is same as input by the user. Then you close both file, you delete the original file, and you rename the temporary file as the original file, and then you open that file in RB plus mode. Okay, let's see the process. step by step. So this is our m.dat file that contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 records, and each record is shown in a different color. And then we have this printf scanf. We ask the user to input the name. So user ने name input कर दिया, and और यहाँ पर हम देख रहे हैं कि the user want to delete this record, the record number 4th with color, whose color is orange. ठीक है, जो orange color में record है, इसको user delete करना चाह रहा है. Now the first step is to create a temporary file. So create a temporary file, and the file pointer points to the beginning of that file. File pointer कौन सा है यहाँ पर हमारे पास ft file pointer है, that is a different file pointer from this file pointer. ये जो m.dat का file pointer है, that is fp, that is different, and temp.dat का जो file pointer है, that is ft, that is also different. तो दोनों का different होना ज़रूरी है, because एक pointer m.dat को point कर रहा है और दूसरा pointer temp.dat को point कर रहा है. Then you rewind the file pointer of the m.dat and it points to the beginning of the file. ठीक है, so ये file के शुरू में point कर रहा है. Then you start reading the file. So अब आपके पास name आ गया जिस record को आपने write नहीं करना temporary file में. ठीक है, here in the scanf function. Then you read the record in a structure E. So you read that record. After reading the record, the file pointer points to the next record, that is second record. Then you come inside the while and check the if condition. If strcmp e.name, इस रिकॉर्ड का नाम is it equal to the m.name. फॉर एग्जाम्पल वो जो रिकॉर्ड यूजर ने नेम इनपुट किया था, that is of the orange record, और हमने इसको डिलीट करना है. सो दिस मीन्स दैट ये जो स्ट्रिंग कंपेयर फंक्शन है, जो e.name और amp.name को कंपेयर कर रहा है, इट विल नॉट रिटर्न यू 0. सो 0 रिटर्न नहीं करेगा. दिस मीन्स दैट यू हैव टू राइट दैट रिकॉर्ड. ये f write एग्जीक्यूट होगा. सो राइट वट एवर is at address end E. Where to write? Write it at ft. ft is a file pointer that is for the temporary file. ठीक है, temporary file का वो file pointer है. So वो record इस जगह पे लिखा जाएगा. Record लिखा जाने के बाद file pointer points to the end of the file. ठीक है. Then again you check the while condition. While f read, so first read the record. So when f read successfully read a record, it will return 1. ठीक है. So when this f read is executed, so read the record from fp, that is a file pointer for temp, and write it at the memory that is associated with the variable e. So here that record will be written. So second record यहाँ पर आ गया है. You can see the color is changed, and then the file pointer is incremented. In the if condition, you check the name in e.name, that is the name field in the structure E. Is it same as amp name जो user ने input किया था उसके बराबर आ गया है? If it is not, then write that record using fwrite statement in temporary temp.dat file. So if let's say that name is not equal to the amp name, so fwrite will be executed and it will write whatever is in the e at temp.dat. So here the record will be written and the file pointer will point to the end of the file. So file pointer ft जो है वो record उस position पे currently लिखने के बाद, जिस position पे point कर रहा था लिखने के बाद, it points to the end of the file. Then you again check the while condition. While you read the third record read करके e में आपने रख दिया f read ने, and f read return 1. So the condition in the while is true. It comes inside. After writing the record in e, it increments the file pointer and f read returns 1. The condition in the while is true. It comes inside the while. Then it checks the if condition. Now the record is the same that the user want to delete. Now no, it's not the same record. The record in E is green record and the user want to delete the orange record, right? Yes. So the condition in the if is string compare e.name. So e.name is, let's say, not equal to m.name. So they are not equal names, so string compare some non-zero value. So non-zero value is not equal to 0 condition is true, so it comes to the f write condition. और f write में आने के बाद it will write the record that is present in e in temp.dat file and it increment ft. And then it again comes in the while loop. It reads the record, next record, that is the orange record. It will be written at the place at the memory that is associated with the variable e. And then the file pointer is incremented, it points to the next record, and fread function return 1, so 1 equal to 1 condition is true. It comes inside the while loop, that is the block of the while loop. Then it check the condition, if condition को check करेगा. If string compare, that is, अब ये वही रिकॉर्ड है जिसको यूजर डिलीट करना चाहता. हमने शुरू में कहा था we assume that this orange record, the user want to delete that orange record, and now the condition in the if is string compare e dot name is equal to emp name. So both the name are equal, so string compare return 0. So 0 is not equal to 0, condition is false, so it won't execute f write statement. So वो write नहीं करेगा, rather it comes to the while loop again. So यहाँ से ये वो f write पे नहीं जाएगा because condition in the if is false. Then it comes in the while condition. while में सबसे पहले f read execute होगा, it reads the record read कर लिया, वो e में write कर दिया, and file pointer points to the end of the file because that was the last record in emp.dat file. And then it comes inside the while loop के block में आ जाएगा because the condition in the while loop is true. It check the if statement, if string compare e dot name. Now e dot name is not equal to emp name. Then string compare returns non-zero value, and that non-zero value is not equal to 0, condition is true, so f write condition will be executed, and that the content of the e will be written in temp.dat. Then ft will be incremented. Now it comes in the while loop again उसकी condition में आ जाएगा. condition सबसे पहले read करेगा, record करने की कोशिश करेगा, but it didn't find any record because fp points to the end of the file, right? So fread returns non-1 value, it returns the 0 because it haven't read any record. So 0 equals to 1, condition is false, so it comes outside while loop. Now it close the file fp file को close कर देगा, ft file को close करेगा, that is temporary file. उस file को close करेगा जिसको ft pointer point कर रहा है, so file को close कर दिया. And then it remove the emp.dat. this is the next statement to be executed. So when this statement is successfully executed, now emp.dat file will be removed. ठीक है, वो फाइल ख़त्म हो जाएगी रैम से, एंड देन रैम से नहीं हार्ड डिस्क से ख़त्म हो जाएगी. सो ये फाइल हार्ड डिस्क से डिलीट हो जाएगी जब ये स्टेटमेंट एग्जीक्यूट होगी. देन यू रीनेम temp.dat को emp.dat बना दो. सो temp.dat है, उसको आपने emp.dat कर दिया, उसने उसको रीनेम कर दिया, राइट? रीनेम करने के बाद अगेन यू ओपन दैट फाइल इन rb प्लस मोड. आप emp.dat फाइल को ओपन करें. यस, emp.dat फाइल एग्जिस्ट करती है, उसको rb प्लस मोड में ओपन कर दिया. सो फाइल पॉइंटर पॉइंट्स टू द बिगनिंग ऑफ दैट फाइल, एंड देन यू again print the message, do you want to delete another record? If the user says yes, I want to delete another record, then this process is repeated again. So this is the end of our today's lecture. In today's lecture we have seen that how we can write a database management program that is used to add record, display record, modify record, and delete record. And we have also seen the Fseek function, the purpose of the Fseek function. For adding a record, you have to make sure that the file pointer points to the end of the file, because if it points somewhere in the middle of the file or at the beginning of the file, then the record will be overwritten. So अगर शुरू में point कर रहा होगा, first record को point कर रहा होगा file pointer, and you execute the f write statement at this point, आप फाइल पॉइंटर को एंड पे नहीं लेके गए बल्कि फाइल के शुरू में पॉइंट कर रहा था फर्स्ट रिकॉर्ड को, आपने f write एग्जीक्यूट कर दिया, सो द फर्स्ट रिकॉर्ड विल बी ओवररिटन देन. ठीक है, and you won't be able to recover that record. So for displaying of records, you have to make sure that the file pointer points to the beginning of the file, otherwise some of the record will not be displayed. For example, if the file pointer points to the 4th record, then it start displaying from the 4th record. It will not display record number 1, 2 and 3. For the modification, you have to ask the user to input the name or registration number so you can identify which records he want to modify. Then you move the file pointer to the beginning of the file, you read the first record, you compare the name of the first record. If it is same as input by the user, if it is not, you read the second record, and so on. And when you read a record whose name is same as input by the user, then you input the new values in the structure. You seek the position of the file pointer so that it points to the previous record जिसको आपने read कर चुके हैं, and then you execute fwrite statement, and then that record which user want to modify will be overwritten. For the deletion of the record, you first input the name, which record the user want to delete, and then you Fseek, or you rewind the pointer to the beginning of the file. You create a temporary file, you start writing all those record from the original file into the temporary file except the record whose name is same as input by the user, and then you close both the file. You remove or delete the original file m.dat from the directory from the hard disk, and then you rename the temporary temp.dat file with m.dat file, and then you open the file in RB plus mode. So this is all the process. In the next lecture we will see the program, we will actually execute the program, and then we will convert that program into different components. हम पहले एक ही program बनाएंगे, एक ही main हमारे पास बड़ा सा होगा, then we will convert that program into different functions, add function, display function, modify function and delete function, and so on. Thank you very much, and see you in the next lecture.